All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me on a Friday night. Getting a little cold outside. We're getting ready for short conference tournament next week. Regular season is winding down this weekend. Big event at Homedale and at King College University. Today, special guest junior from Red Bank Catholic, Christina Liggio. Christina, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
First, let's just start off. RBC having a very good season, ranked number 1 in the short conference. I don't know what the state rank is. I don't pay attention really to state rankings, but I'm assuming top 3
Yeah.
in the state rankings. Just talk about how you think the team's playing right now as we're getting closer to the postseason.
Yeah, right now, like as you said, we're going to postseason, but it's been really good. We're all playing really good. We all are having like I said, we're all playing really good right now. Practices, like weeks are getting long, but practices have also been really good. Just like staying consistent, keeping the momentum, like game to game.
Just RBC, it seems like it's a very close-knit group. Any day, a different person could be leading the team in scoring. Doesn't seem like that affects anybody. Everybody plays, 110% every game. What does it mean playing with a team that everybody seems to be so close, and any day a different player could be the star of that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's very obviously like one player is like maybe not having their best shooting game. Like, whoever's coming in for you is one gonna like pick you up and then like make up for whatever like maybe you're struggling with that day. Oh, which is really good because we're always gonna have each other's backs and like you're never gonna see like a drop in whoever comes in.
Okay. Now this weekend, two big games: Union City, who I think is borderline top 20 in the state, and then the big one against Rutgers Prep, who I know they're top 5 in the state as well. What does it mean, playing teams of that caliber right before the short conference tournament?
I mean, I know it's gonna just prepare us for the short conference and then states after that. And again, like all season, we've been playing really good teams, so it's just another weekend to compete and like show that what we've been working on.
The last question I want to ask about this season, the tournament, you were out in Delaware for a tournament during Christmas break. Just you played some really good teams out there. What did it mean, with the caliber of players on your team that you were named the MVP in that tournament?
It meant a lot. Obviously I was named MVP, but really it has to go out to all of my teammates. They're the ones who are helping me, assisting my points, being there to give me confidence to take those shots, and then just being there for if I mess up and all of that. So even though I was named MVP, it's really a team effort for everyone we have.
Now let's rewind to when you were a little kid. How old were you when you first started playing basketball?
Kind of not later, but I played soccer. I was like big on that, and then I just always played basketball as a side sport, probably from like first grade, second grade. And then I started playing it like more seriously in like later middle school.
What made you switch from soccer to basketball?
It was mainly my mom who like introduced basketball to me, just because like she was really good at it and she played, and then just like playing both really competitively, I just liked basketball more and stuck with that.
Yeah, people, when I interviewed the Clarks, they said, I guess one of them played defense and they got a little boring back there if the ball, if your team was really good and it was always on the offensive attack, it gets a little boring on the back end on the soccer field, where basketball, you need to have your head up and ready
Yeah.
every game. Did now your cousin, Frankie, right? Your cousin with Frank. Did she influence you at all when you were younger playing soccer?
Oh yeah, for sure. Even now that I don't play soccer, she's still such a great role model. I remember like going to her games when she played at Penn State and then went to Rutgers. Just like her hard work. We'd literally go over like to our cousin's house and she'd be training. And then like although like soccer and basketball are different, like she's helped me with like talking to schools and like all of that. So just as a person too, she's just been a great role model.
And that's great. That's not even a question I thought of. Obviously she went through the recruiting prospects, being as good a soccer player she was, helping you with the recruitment, talking to schools. And I'm sure, the mental aspect, because, she was a very tough player, probably help you and your sisters on the mental aspect too. So you started playing, like middle school took more serious. Now, when did you start AAU with Sure Shots?
AAU, I'm pretty sure it was like the summer of 6th or 7th grade.
Who was your first coach? Was it your mother, or did you have somebody else as your first coach?
It was Candace Carmen. So Tessa.
What does it mean, playing with Tessa, getting to know her and playing her at AAU, and then on the high school level? Does that help? Obviously, probably helps the chemistry at RBC.
Yeah, it's so much fun playing with Tessa in the summer and then in high school too. Obviously, like we're super close friends. We get to go to school together every day, but then also on the basketball court, like as both like juniors and like we're both captains, like we just get each other, I think, on another level. And then again, like she's always there. I'm always there for her. So it's a good relationship we have.
Now, growing up, you have your two sisters right behind you. How competitive was it in the driveway growing up? And you have an older brother, correct?
Yeah, I do.
How competitive was it outside in the backyard growing up?
Yeah, it was always competitive, which is fun. But then like 20 minutes later, we'll be like laughing together and like best friends. So that was always nice.
Last question before we'll get into high school stuff. What have your parents meant to you in your development over the years?
They do so much for really all of my siblings. My brother plays football, so even with him, just like their constant support, and then also like holding us accountable, because they know what our goals are, so they just want to like do everything they can. Obviously, like literally just starting with like giving us the opportunity to go to RBC, like just that has given me so many opportunities. So they've just done literally everything to get me to where I am.
Now, you're at RBC, your freshman year, playing for Coach Montana. What has he taught you, because experienced coach, what has he taught you? How has he made your game better?
He's definitely taught me a lot. Definitely just like how important the little things are, and like you can't skip over details, whether it's like who you're guarding and like scouting, or if it's like something really little like in your shot that can make a big difference.
Yeah, he seems like, you could be a little off with your shooting, but if you're hustling, boxing out, playing very hard on defense, he's not going to get on you as hard because you're showing the effort. And high school shot could be off one game, and then you could hit every shot the very next game. So as long as your energy levels there, your body language is good. He seems he's not a coach that would punish or pull you out of a game, I should say. Now, freshman year, what you played with, Justine Pastat and Ali Carmen, those two had two very good careers in the Shore Conference. What were you able to learn from them their senior year when you were a freshman?
I was definitely able to learn like that leadership role that they both brought to the team. Obviously, they were amazing players. But the way that they were able to like lead our team throughout the season was really good. They taught me so much. Even though I was only with them for one season, they're both Justine and Ali both brought a lot to the team, and I was able to take after that.
Now, sometimes going into school freshman year could be a little nerve-wracking, especially playing at RBC where it's basketball is such a big thing there. Did it make it a little easier going in with a teammate with like Tessa Carmen? Did your freshman year make it a little easier for you?
Yeah, for sure. Me and Tessa were both in that spot where like we wasn't sure if we were gonna play. We were going to RBC, which is like a big deal coming in as freshmen. But again, like we had such good teammates to make practices easier and to help us when we didn't know play or something like that. So it was good going in with her.
Nate, you two made a big splash right off. WOBM, both of you made a big splash, and I know myself, I was very impressed. You two carried yourself like you weren't freshmen out there. Didn't seem nervous because sometimes you see freshmen with the deer in the headlights, but you two seemed like you were ready for that moment. How did you mentally get to that spot? Was it family help you get there? Your confidence level that you knew you belong there, because that's tough for a freshman, because sometimes freshmen are like nervous that they don't belong yet.
Yeah, I think it all just goes back to like the work that our team or even just myself that put in, that just like trusting myself in those big moments, that like I've prepared for this. Like, I know I have my teammates also with me. And then obviously, like, my family and everyone will also install confidence in me. But again, it just goes back to, like, knowing that I've done enough to get to this moment.
Okay. Now, move on. Your sophomore year, the big freshman class comes in. Your twin sisters come in.
Mhm.
Did you expect that, the freshman class as a whole, they had a pretty big impact right away? And even I felt like even when, the coach had, you never know what lineup or rotation he was throwing out there. My first question, how fun is it to play with your sisters on the court at the same time?
It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. Like, not a lot of people get to, like, experience that, and I'm lucky to do it for another year after this too. So it's been a lot of fun.
My second question, are your sisters more are they coachable from you? Like, if you give them advice, do they listen, or are they like, don't have to listen to my big sister?
No, yeah, that's like one of the best things is that even though like we're sisters and like we could fight at home all the time, like when we're on the basketball court, like they're gonna listen and they're gonna trust, and then like also I'm gonna take advice from them. Like if they're gonna tell me something, I'm also gonna listen.
And how fun is it, when it seems like when you grow, let me rephrase that. Previous years, RBC kind of played a kind of slower style, set up their offense half court. It seemed like last year coach let you girls run up and down the court, and it's like I think I said in the WOBM final or the semifinal, I thought I was watching the Lakers from the '80s. That there was a couple plays, all 5 people on the court touched the ball, and the ball didn't bounce once. Like, it was just real quick. How fun is it when you're able to play that style?
It's a lot of fun. Like we practice that type of style and practices every day, really fast paced and like competitive. So especially last year when we were coming in with 6 freshmen, which is like unheard of, especially when all the freshmen were that skilled. It was so much fun to play and like see it pay off because a lot of other teams like weren't able to stop it.
And what does it mean about the culture Joe said that, 6 good freshmen came in and it seemed like nobody was like, oh, my playing time's going to cut. It was like, it's just a very team. This is what's best for the team. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all just had one common goal, which was like to be the best that we can. And if that meant that you're gonna have players come in and like share your time, then it meant that. Again, like we were all good with that because we knew it was like for the best.
Now, this season, I always see huge, whether it's soccer or basketball, whatever, from sophomore to junior year, I see a lot of big improvements in players. What was something you really wanted to improve from your sophomore year to your junior season?
I'd say probably my leadership role. I think last year I had one, but this year definitely. Since we lost 3 seniors last year, being able to do that, and then also just staying consistent, so that I can be that type of leader. Um, just being consistent in all aspects of the game.
Now, you're only one senior this year, right?
Yeah.
And how exciting is that, knowing that everybody's coming back? You girls are having a great season this year. How exciting is it that everyone's coming back next year and you're going to be able to do this all over again?
Yeah, it's really exciting, but we the one senior that we are losing, like obviously she plays a really big role, like in practices and just like again part of that culture that you mentioned. But it is exciting to think of next year that we're going to be able to do it with most of everyone.
Now, I want to talk about one game this year, the Moores Catholic game, big game. How did it feel? You had the number 1 team on the ropes right there. What did that do for confidence? Because to me, that said, hey, RBC could be, they play again. It's anybody's game. And what did you take away from that game?
I mean, we weren't just happy to be there. We obviously wanted to win. Obviously we didn't, but we all of us in the locker room after the game knew that we should have won, even if we made 2 less of the mistakes we did. Like we would have won the game. So yeah, that gave us confidence, and that we know that when we're in more situations like that, like we're gonna know like what it takes to win those games.
And what is it? You girls are in a lot of showcases in these big games. What does it mean being, because not everyone gets those opportunities to play these top teams. What does it mean being able just to be in that environment where you're playing these teams ranked in the top in the country? You played Westtown,
Yeah.
you played Rutgers Prep on Sunday, was it being in a place where it gives you the opportunity to get that kind of exposure?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, again, like you said, not everyone gets to play in like those types of environments. And it's a lot of fun. And again, doing it with a group of girls that you love and like they're all your best friends. It's just a lot of fun.
I got one question for your senior year next year. What is something you hope that you pass down to the underclassmen?
Probably just to like enjoy all the moments, like even the little things, like if we're getting food after practice or like before that, like that stuff just like it's just so much fun. And I know like when I'm like graduated, like I'm gonna miss that. So probably just like appreciating all of the little things that happens.
Okay, you ready for a round robin? Quick questions here.
Yeah, sure.
What's your favorite TV show?
I'd say Suits on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yes, you were the first person to say that.
Really?
I've done like 200 of these. Usually I get Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
How about your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I don't know. I'm not really big on movies, so I don't know.
Funny, I was listening to the Suits theme song earlier today. That's funny.
Yeah.
How about your favorite school subject?
Probably math.
When your playing days are finally over, do you want to stay involved with basketball, like
Um,
coaching or training?
I don't know. Maybe if it comes back to me again, like I'm really not sure what I want to do, but I think that'd be cool to do.
What is your go-to song to get you in the zone before a big game?
Um, our team before every game, we play Dreams and Nightmares before we played together, so that's kind of like a thing we do.
Okay. Last question. What is something you enjoy to do when you're not playing basketball?
When we're not playing basketball, probably just like relaxing, like really chill because we're usually doing basketball or something like that a lot. So when we don't have basketball, we just want to like relax.
Relax. Okay. All right. Let's talk about your future real quick. Now, junior year, you're looking at schools. What are some things that you're looking at for like what's attracting you to certain campuses?
I think definitely like good relationships. Like if I'm leaving my home here and like my family and all of that, like I want to go somewhere that's gonna be like my second family.
Mhm.
Obviously like a good culture, just stuff like that. It's really important.
Okay. Now you don't know what you want to study. Do you know like any idea what you want to do in the future? Like what?
Yeah, no,
Not yet. This
there.
when I was in school, my friends changed their careers about 4 or 5 times while they were in college. So you definitely have time.
Yeah. Hmm.
The last question I like to ask is what advice would you give your younger self?
Younger self. Um, um, I'd probably just say to like again, just like going back to like appreciating the moment, like not to get too ahead of yourself. Even now, like not looking to like games weeks ahead, like staying like focusing on the game you have tomorrow or like the next day. Because again, like all of those matter and like all of those moments, like when you're younger, like just like appreciating them and not just like taking them for granted.
I think you're my first player that I interviewed that you were not in high school when COVID hit. Now, you were 8th grade when COVID hit or 7th
Yeah.
grade?
Uh-huh. It was
Yeah.
like seventh and into my eighth grade
Okay,
year.
so it started at the end of your 7th and beginning of your 8th. How did just a little side I'm just curious because I only asked this question to kids who are in high school. How did you find that adjustment that like one day you were in school and then next day, first they're telling you you're home for 2 weeks and then all of a sudden you're online learning. How did you find that adjustment? Because it was difficult for high school kids. Now you were only in middle school at the time. It could have been, a little more challenging that, you're used to being in class every day and all of a sudden you're not in class anymore.
Yeah, I mean it was really weird, like that adjustment, but yeah, my school did the thing where like you were in school one day, then like online for another. And it was like really shorter days, like we were barely like doing school. But that actually like allowed like a lot more time for basketball. And I think because of that, like that's when I really grew as a player. So like I'm kind of thankful for that. So like that really like weird schedule allowed me to like actually like really focus and that's when I became like good.
And that makes sense. That's kind of when you fell in love with basketball more, more than so that kind of makes sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Christina, I appreciate. I don't want to take too much time today from you because you do have a very busy weekend with RBC. I thank you for coming on the podcast today, and I wish you luck this weekend and entering Shore Conference tournament states.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much again.
No problem. Thank you, guys. Christina Liggio. By the way, she was our freshman at the Give and Go Freshman Player of the Year, which was a very tough race between you and your teammate.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that as well, and great season this year, and good luck to RBC as they wrap up the season and postseason. Have a good night, everybody.